Have you ever wondered how a band of just 500 men could shatter an empire of millions, armed with steel, horses, and sheer audacity? But in 1521, that's exactly what happened when Hernan Cortes led his conquistadors against the mighty Aztec Empire. Imagine sailing across unknown oceans, landing on alien shores filled with gold and gods. What drove this Spanish explorer to challenge the unbeatable? The Aztecs ruled a vast realm, their capital Tenochtitlan a floating marvel on Lake Texcoco. It all began in 1519 when Cortes arrived with his small force, defying orders from Spain. But why risk everything? Greed? Glory? Or destiny? He forged alliances with tribes oppressed by the Aztecs, turning enemies into allies. What if one betrayal could ignite a revolution? Enter Montezuma II, the Aztec emperor who mistook Cortes for a god. Quetzalcoatl returned. Can you picture the shock when gods demanded tribute? But tensions boiled over. In 1520, the Night of Sorrows, Spaniards massacred Aztec nobles, sparking rebellion. Blood flowed like rivers. The escape was a nightmare. Cortes fled, but he wasn't done. He regrouped, built brigantines, and laid siege to Tenochtitlan. Imagine starving an island fortress, brutal, unyielding. What horrors unfolded in those 93 days of siege? Disease ravaged them, smallpox, a silent killer from the old world. Cuauhtémoc, the last emperor, fought fiercely, but the city crumbled. Talk about a plot twist. Horses terrifying warriors who'd never seen them. On August 13th, 1521, Tenochtitlan fell. The empire that sacrificed hearts to the sun god was no more. But at what cost? Millions perished, a civilization erased. Was this conquest or catastrophe? You decide. The fall reshaped the world, forever. Let's rewind. Before the fall, Tenochtitlan was one of the largest cities on Earth. Picture this, a metropolis built on a lake, connected by massive causeways, with floating gardens, or chinampas, that fed 250,000 people. It was an engineering spectacle, the heart of a powerful tribute state that demanded goods and people from its subjects. The Aztecs weren't just warriors. They were master builders, astronomers, and poets. Their society was deeply religious, built around a cycle of festivals and sacrifices to appease gods who controlled every aspect of life, from the rising sun to the falling rain. So when Cortes arrived, he didn't just stumble upon a primitive tribe. He found a complex, thriving civilization, but a civilization built on a fragile foundation. The constant demand for tribute and sacrificial victims created deep resentment among conquered peoples like the Tlaxcalans. They saw the Spanish, with their strange metal armor and thunderous weapons, not just as invaders, but as potential liberators. This was the crack in the empire's armor that Cortes, a master of manipulation, was about to exploit. He didn't just fight the Aztecs, he turned their own world against them. Imagine the first meeting between Cortes and Montezuma. Two worlds colliding. The Spanish were stunned by the city's wealth, the markets overflowing with jade, feathers, and gold. Montezuma, on the other hand, was paralyzed by prophecy and fear. Was this truly the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl? He welcomed the Spaniards into his palace, showered them with gifts, hoping to appease them. It was a fatal miscalculation. Cortes quickly turned this hospitality into a trap, placing the emperor himself under house arrest, effectively seizing control of the empire from within, without a single major battle. But this phony war couldn't last. The Spanish presence was a powder keg. While Cortes was away dealing with a rival Spanish force, his lieutenant, Pedro de Alvarado, made a disastrous move. During a major Aztec festival, he feared an uprising and ordered a preemptive massacre of thousands of unarmed nobles and priests. The city erupted in fury. When Cortes returned, he found himself trapped in the palace, besieged by a furious population. The Night of Sorrows, La Noche Triste, was the Aztecs' brutal revenge. They drove the Spanish out of the city, killing hundreds of conquistadors and thousands of their native allies as they fled across the causeways. Cortes lost almost everything: his men, his treasure, his pride. Any other leader might have given up, but not Cortes. He was relentless. He retreated to the safety of his Tlaxcalan allies, and there he began plotting his comeback. This time, it wouldn't be a quick strike, it would be total war. His masterstroke was realizing he couldn't take the island city of Tenochtitlan without controlling the lake. So, he ordered the construction of a fleet of small warships, brigantines, built in pieces by his Tlaxcalan allies and then assembled on the shores of Lake Texcoco. The siege of Tenochtitlan began in May 1521. For 93 days, the city was choked from all sides. The Brigantines cut off food and water supplies from the mainland. Cannons pounded the temples and pyramids into rubble. The Spanish and their allies advanced slowly, street by street, house by house. The fighting was horrific. The Aztecs, now led by the heroic young Cuauhtémoc, fought for every inch of their homeland. They launched counterattacks in canoes, dropped boulders from rooftops, and captured Spaniards for public sacrifice. But they were fighting a losing battle. Starvation and thirst weakened them, and worse, smallpox, a disease to which they had no immunity, was sweeping through the population, killing more than the fighting. By August, the city was a graveyard. The canals were clogged with bodies, the streets filled with the starving and the sick. Cuauhtémoc was captured while trying to escape in a canoe, and with his surrender, the final resistance collapsed. The Spanish flag was raised over the smoking ruins of what was once the most magnificent city in the Americas. The Aztec Empire was gone. Its legacy, however, is all around us, in the food we eat, the words we speak, and in the vibrant culture of modern Mexico. The story of its fall is a brutal, complex tale of ambition, betrayal, and the collision of worlds. It reminds us how quickly even the greatest empires can crumble. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into history's most dramatic turning points, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you next time.
Like the video and subscribe to the channel.